Hey friends, in this tutorial we are hand lettering a trick or treat sign. Guys, if you're new here, my name is Tracy. I love to share crafty ideas with a bit of rustic country charm, just like today's project. Now, on my channel I have lots of country crafts, including some of my God-given talent, hand lettering. Guys, I have been hand lettering like this for many years, and I do want to encourage anyone who wants to learn that you can do it as well. I maybe would start out with markers on some scrap paper and then maybe move in onto some scrap wood and your paint. And so I am here to encourage you and to kind of show you my tips of what I do to hand letter a project. Okay, you can do this on any sign, but for this particular trick or treat sign, I'm using 2 of these thankful blocks that you can get at the Dollar Tree. They're usually seasonal, but I've had this one for several years, and it just happens to have the buffalo check pattern on it. If it's something that you like, you can always add scrapbook paper or paint it a buffalo check pattern. And so then what I'm doing, I'm just using some E6000, and yes, my E6000 glue is black. I did not realize that it comes in several colors until I bought it and was using it. Anyway, and then I just used some hot glue to do that as well, so that it would hold instantly. Okay, then now I'm going to do the crackle technique, and I achieve that by just using some black paint, because that is what I want to show through the cracks. And so I am giving this board a coat of black paint. I let that dry, and then I'm going back over it with my crackle medium. My crackle medium is something that you can find at the craft store, or I do have it linked in my Amazon store if you're interested in having it shipped to you or get a little bit more information. And so what I do is I put a thick coat of the crackle medium on my board or on my project, whatever I'm doing, and I'm just using a regular brush just to brush this on, and I let it completely dry. Like, there's no stickiness to it at all when it's completely dry. Sometimes I let it dry for a couple of hours. Sometimes it's overnight if I'm doing several projects at a time, but I let it completely dry. And the black is what's going to show through the cracks. Okay, so then now I'm going to put a white over it. And what you're kind of seeing here is at first, when I was doing this project, I was thinking I was going to use my Cricut to put the lettering on, but I had a hard time with the transfer tape to transfer the letters onto the board, and so I ended up painting over it, and then I'm just going to hand letter it. And so I don't know what I was thinking. I wanted to use my Cricut, but that didn't work out for a crackle paint project. So that's what I just want to share with you. Anyway, so now my project is completely dry, and I'm going to make a checkerboard pattern, and I have some orange paint. This is spiced pumpkin, and I have just a 1/4 inch flat paintbrush, and I'm just going to make a checkerboard pattern. And this is how I make my checkerboard pattern. I just start in the corner and then go just in the checkerboard pattern like that, and just make it all the way around. I'm going to add some shading around my sign. I'm using a 1/2 inch flat paintbrush as well as some milk chocolate brown paint. I have some clean water. I dip half of my brush in paint, the other half in clean water, and I blend on a paper towel. I then go around my project on the outside all the way around, and I am just shading around the project. And since this is a sign, I love to do this technique when I paint a checkerboard. Is I will add shading around the side on the outside, and then I will also go back and add some shading to the inside of the checkerboard around where like the inside of the squares, they kind of meet there in the on the sign. For my lettering, I'm using my favorite brushes. Now, this chart is something that I put together that shows exactly which brush I use for kind of like my lettering and that kind of thing. It is available for you to view, or you can print it out if you want to. I will have the link in the description box. It's on my blog. All right, so to start my lettering, I'm just using the number 2 flat paintbrush, and then I'm going to just, I've slowed this down so that you can see exactly how I form the letters. I do not have a tutorial, only because depending on what letters what I'm writing will depend on what letters I'm doing it and how I'm doing it. And so I have found a free font called Geldotica font. That is something that you can download. The link will be in this description box below if you would like to check that out. So I'm just painting here in real time, just showing you that it does take a little bit of time, for me to form the letters. And, sometimes in my videos, I speed them up just a little bit because I don't want them to be so long. And not everybody is interested in painting, but I have found that there are more people that are not. There are more people that do desire to learn how to paint with a paintbrush. And so I do encourage you, only if, find a font that you like. If this is not your style of font, then there is a font out there. Download that on your computer, print out, whatever words you want to say, and just start practicing with markers first. That's what I would recommend, with markers, and then go, then try with the paintbrush. And I like the dots on the ends of my letters. That's kind of like my signature kind of thing that I've been doing for many years. And I achieve that by just using either the paintbrush, but here I am sharing how I just take a paintbrush and just dip the end of it in paint, and I just am making dots on the edges of my letters. And to get my dots to be consistent, I dip in it every single time, and that way my dots are, the similar in size. Then I do an outline with my fine Sharpie marker. Now I choose to use the Sharpie brand of marker because I do find that it is permanent. Not all Sharpie markers are created the same per se, and so I like to use the Sharpie brand of marker because it does not smear. I've only had it smear a couple of times, and it just was what I was writing on was not porous, and it was slick, and so therefore it didn't have anything to stick to. And so I like the Sharpie brand of marker. They're not paying me to say it. I wish they would. I wish they would send me some Sharpie markers, as much as I have purchased over the years, but that's, neither here nor there. Anyway, so guys, now I'm going to share how I paint splatter. I know there are a lot of people that want to learn how to do this, and how I do it. I use a stiff brush. It can be a stencil brush like I'm doing here. It can be a toothbrush or other stiff brush that you may have, and I use a stick and just run across the bristles of the brush to project the paint onto my project. And so I do have a paint splattering video that I will link to as well if you would like a specific video that is dedicated to just paint splattering. And so I did the black first, then I'm going back over it with some buttermilk color of paint, and just projecting that over. I pull the stick toward my body so that the paint will go on the project. Always make sure that your table or your area is covered with some paper or something so that it doesn't get because it is going to get messy. And so anyway, now I am once everything is completely dry, I put a coat of varnish on it, and I like to use this varnish that I get from the craft store, or it is linked in my Amazon store as well. And so then that is it for this trick or treat project, and it just turned out so cute. I hope that some of these tips have been helpful to you. A lot of my community wants to learn how to do signs like this, so I am sharing different tips and tricks and different videos. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching and for your sweet and kind feedback. I appreciate you all. Have a great day. God bless.